Hi, everyone. So I'm going to wait a couple minutes because this is kind of like a surprise pop-up live thing that I decided to do for the end of the year energy update. So we're going to wait till some people get into the room. And I'm going to do a couple of technological things. Hi. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Surprise. I hope everybody's doing well. I've had this feeling building up inside of me the last couple of days. Sorry if I'm still a little stuffy and hoarse. I'm still getting well. That virus just killed me. Tried to kill me a couple times. But I wanted to do an end of the year energy update. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. So good to see so many people here. Wow. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like button. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb because it will go off. Never fails. How's everybody doing? How are the holidays? I'm so glad the notifications worked. 3 a.m. What are you doing up, Annie? That's crazy. Thanks, Jessica. Namaste to you as well. Which January reading did you watch, Leslie? Good. I'm glad everybody's doing really well. You needed this, Abby. What happened to our party that we were going to do, Abby? Hi, Leslie. Hi. Oh, Aries. Yeah, it was a good one, though. I mean, there's a lot of truth bombs that have been hitting everybody. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. You need help. Oh, let's do it. Tell me when and where. I can't do it for New Year's Eve, though. I have a special date with a 5-year-old on New Year's Eve. We're going to be asleep by 10, I'm sure. Ooh, California. It's freezing and windy. Hashtag Leslie Nation. That should be a thing. Hi, happy holidays, everyone. So glad thank you very much, Arlene. Thank you. So I want to talk about the energy that's going on because we have a pretty big conjunction that's happening actually today and then like this weekend. And because it's the end of the year and it's a strong Piscean feeling, like you're going to be up in your feelings. My biggest thing about this is to not put fear into people about the energies that are going to be happening, but to kind of ease your mind that you don't have to be afraid of it. So I'm glad to see that everybody's doing really well. And please take care of yourself during this time. And, you know, it's funny because a lot of people have kind of contacted me and they're like, I'm so alone right now. I'm so alone. The holidays can do that to you. And it's such a perceived notion that not having people around you that are like showering you with affection and love, like means that there's something wrong with you. And that's just, well, Lauren, yes, more feelings, but hopefully this is kind of the end. Like we're moving into a new era because as Venus comes out of Scorpio, we're done with all the Scorpio stuff. I'm going to talk about that a little bit because, you know, that like all of the Venus in retrograde in Scorpio isn't going to happen again for a very long time. Like, I don't know the exact amount, like 8 to 10 years. Like it's going to be, you know, and that Venus in Scorpio, if there are things that you're not being authentic about, you're going to come into 2019 and it's going to be painful. Like literally it's going to be painful. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. It's been a hard couple of years for Taurians, but things are looking up. Uranus is really going to help, I think. You have to remember that with all of the hard stuff that happens, it's just about clearing out it's about clearing out everything. And, you know, you hear me say all the time that the universe is just trying to help you make space in your life to be big, to be amazing, to be your authentic self, to be who you're supposed to be in your life. And if you're fighting it and you're not allowing the heart, you know, you're not allowing the stuff that you're not, that's not resonating with you anymore. It's like, so let me start first with this Mars conjunction with Chiron that's happening like today into tomorrow. And that's where the really heavy feelings are going to come from, because when we try too hard to make something happen, when we try, thank you, Becky. Oh, so appreciate it. You guys are wonderful. I love you all. Excuse me. When we try to make things happen and it doesn't work and it doesn't work and it doesn't work, and we feel like we're just beating our heads up against a wall all the time trying to make things happen, it's because it's not supposed to. If it doesn't feel good, and you're always struggling and you're always forcing something to work that's not going to work, you got to let it go. And it's not easy to let it go. Yes, it's so much easier for me to say, just let it go, except for it's not easy for me to say that because I've been through it. And this really big, oh, thank you. I love it too. It's true. It's kind of backwards in the, you know, the way the camera is, but everybody thinks that we're so programmed that we have to be in a certain lifestyle and we have to be a certain person and we have to look a certain way and we have to act a certain way and say certain things. And this is how society wants us to be, right? That's how we were programmed. Except, hi, Double R, thank you so much. Oh, yes. If anybody, this is like why I wore this today. Be mindful right now. Taking care of yourself is a really, really big thing, and making sure you're living your authenticity, living in your truth. And that's kind of what Scorpio, all these Scorpio transits that were happening with Venus going retrograde, which doesn't happen very often. It was all for a reason. Going through the difficult times are for a reason. And I've been through the difficult times. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I practice what I preach. And when I'm not practicing what I'm preaching, I have to do a quick 180 and figure out why. Is it because I'm feeling a different way? I'm seeing something from a different point of view. That's where my Virgo mind goes to. But I have to remember to get out of my mind and get back into my heart and figure out what it is. Oh, Eric's here. Hi. I was like, morning coffee. I don't do that. Eric's here. I was just, hi, Steven. Good morning. All my people are here. That's so sweet of you guys to show up. Anyway, so the energies, you know, if you find yourself, because we're also like the Virgo moon is today. Whenever the moon is in Virgo, doesn't even matter like whether it's waxing or waning or where it is. We always feel extremely strict. Like we got to get things done. This is the way things have to go. And as we move into Libra with this Mars and Chiron conjunction, as Mars moves into Aries, on December 31st, Mars will be in Aries, but we have this Mars Chiron conjunction. It's all about where we are feeling hurt the most. And it's a hard time of year to go through this kind of transit. It's a very hard time of year. So really, really practice being authentic. If there are people in your life that are making you feel bad about who you are, I don't care if they're blood related. I don't care who they are to you. That's not something that you need to surround yourself with now. Now is the time to surround yourself with people who are loving, people who are supporting you no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been a spiritual guru for decades. It doesn't matter. Because everybody's going to feel this, and it's really what you do with the energy that's going to be the best way to approach situations. And if you're finding that things just aren't working out for you and you keep trying so much, like the expectation to have one certain outcome in your life right now, when it falls through or it doesn't work for you, it could really be painful. So thank you, JC. Appreciate it. So allow yourself, remember the word allow. I'm really big on the word allow. Allow yourself to be who you are. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. If you have to cry it out, cry it out. I have a huge motto of when I am feeling down and out, because crying is a huge stress relief. You know, I used to think that it was like weak of me to cry. I was actually programmed to believe that as a young child. It was very weak for me to cry. So thank you, JC. It's purging. It's purging, and it's one of the easiest way to purge emotions. When we hold those emotions in like really, really tight, and we're not able to release them, that's where all the stress points, that's where we get clogged up. That's where our chakras get super clogged up. And one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this is because I've been noticing you're such a crier now. It's good though. It's so good. I love it, Eric. I love that you cry now. And I remember doing, and I was just about to say this, I've noticed that with like the Reiki sessions that I'm doing, the one-on-one readings that I've been doing, all the January readings that are coming out, that even the general ones for the general signs, which I will be completing, I promise. I'm just trying to keep my energy even with so much going on. I've noticed where those emotions are so held deep inside people because they're not being their true authentic selves. And when that is released, when you finally like are honest with yourself and you release it and you just like push through the madness of the emotions and how you're feeling, and allow yourself to feel, society tells us not to feel because it looks weak, or it's just a tough pressure to be under these days. You know, if you're a softie like me, then you're considered too much or over emotional or dramatic or melodramatic. Oh, you know, I was called melodramatic and a princess my whole life, which is so funny to be called a princess because princesses don't work that hard. I mean, actually nowadays they do, but they didn't, you know, like the conception of a princess is everything comes to you very easily. I've always worked very hard to get to where I am. It was not an easy road for me to get here. So I was going to say with Eric, we did a Reiki session with him a couple of months ago. And he told me like the second that I connected into his energy, it was like a waterfall. Yeah, it was like the waterfall. He couldn't stop crying. And then he's like, I cried for like 24 hours straight, which is fine. But like I have a motto with myself because I am a Virgo. So it's like the straighten up and fly right kind of attitude. But I have a motto with myself that if I need to purge and cry, I give myself 15 minutes to do it. And then I get up and I'm gangster again. But that's me. That doesn't have to be ever. I mean, like if you have to cry for hours to get it out and release it, I usually just need like 15 minutes and then I'm ready to go. So, and I will be pulling cards as well for the end of the year energies. I want you guys to get excited. We're coming into, it was a major purge. And it's so Virgo. So Virgo. I have a lot of Virgo in my chart. I did a reading for a beautiful Virgo yesterday, talking about her soul purpose. And that's what I mean. The readings right now are really, really deep and they're so amazing. Now is the time. And I'm, you know, if you don't resonate with me as a reader, please get a reading from somebody as we go into the 2019 year, because the readings right now are on point. Those who are super intuitive and super like, you know, I have people that I will recommend. There are several people in the chat that I would recommend you get readings from. Stephen Libby with Starborn Messenger, Eric with Divine Conversations. I'm sure there are other ones. So if you don't necessarily resonate with me to get a personal reading, and I do know that Eric has an end of the year special that's going on as well as I do. December 31st, it'll be, right now it's like up to 25% off readings on my website. So check that out. But it's time to walk in your power. It's time to find that purpose. And somebody who's really, really connected with the energies right now can really help with that and also help guide you through all of this heavy emotional stuff that we're hanging on to. So yeah, Eric has 20% off until midnight on December 31st. So I know I love Eric's happy hour too. You guys have probably seen me on it a couple of times. He helps me more. I mean, like having that guy in my life, I don't know what I'd do without him. He's kind of my backbone some days. Like, I don't want to get out of bed. Tell me to get out of bed. So let's see what else. Yeah, now is not the time to crawl under a rock and feel sorry for yourself, because the energies are going to kind of push you to want to do that. And if you have to do it for a couple of hours, that's fine. Don't cry. I don't want to be the reason why you cry. Oh, Stephen. Everybody's just so emotional right now. I love it. I love looking back at where I was at the end of 2017 and seeing where I am now. Leaps and bounds of who I was. So make sure instead of looking back and thinking about the failures that because I had plenty of failures this year, let me tell you. I tripped and fell and had to pick myself up and dust myself off so many times. But the benefits of tripping and falling, because you have that wound, like you trip and fall, you skin your knee, you have that wound that's wide open, and then you have to heal it. And that's the beautiful part of it. And I can say definitely with the Scorpio transits that we had this year. Oh, hi, Cal. I won't tell anybody, I promise. This is advice for all the signs. This is totally general, MJ. This is not with one particular sign. This is the collective energy. And I was asked one time, like, how can you read collective energy? How is that going to be? How does that work? But because we're all going through the same energies at the same time, it doesn't matter what sign, being very exclusive and like pointing out each sign that's, for an entire month, that's a different thing because we all have different transits in different houses every month. That's what astrology is all about. But when it comes to collective energy, we are feeling this Mars and Chiron conjunct at the same time. Like, I don't care what house it's sitting in for you. It's still going to be pretty tough. And then we have a sun and moon square off. There was one other thing that I'm forgetting at the moment, but it must not be too important. But also, I want to talk about this time where, when I talk about we're going into a new era, Neptune is in Pisces. We still have Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Actually, we have a lot of Capricorn going on in January. And then we have Jupiter in Sagittarius. And the last time that Jupiter was in Sagittarius and Neptune was in Pisces was during Prohibition. And during like trying to figure out like what's right and what's wrong and who's good and who's bad. And I have to say that I was watching, this kind of like gave me a lot of clarity, because I've been trying to figure out like, what am I feeling these days? There's something that's building up inside of me and I really need to get it out and like talk to you guys about it, but I couldn't figure out exactly what it was. And then this morning, when I was driving back from dropping my son off at daycare, I noticed that the Leo King had done a video on the 2019 energies. And so I started listening to it, and he talked about the Jupiter and Neptune. The last time that this happened was during the Prohibition phase. And he was much more eloquent about than I'm going to be probably. So I will put that link in the description box for you guys to go see that video, because it's amazing. It's about an hour long. He's such a charismatic person anyways. You can kind of just have him on in the background and like listen to what he's saying. But I really dig him. I think he's pretty cool. So when I heard that, I was like, that's exactly it. We're moving into a totally new space. And after all of the Scorpio stuff that we went through, where we were really being asked to purge in our lives, and we were really being asked to step into our authenticity and to no longer go with the status quo and what everybody else wants us to do, that's what that Scorpio timeframe was really all about. And it's not going to happen again for a long time. And if you think about it, like we have a lot of transits that are happening at the end of the zodiac, right? And so like the next couple of years, we're ending transits at the end of the zodiac, and then we're starting all over again. And as Chiron moves back into Aries, and Uranus moves back into Taurus. It's really like if you are not living your truest, most authentic life right now and figuring out for yourself what's good and what's bad, what's right and what's wrong, not what society's trying to tell you, but how you're feeling it inside. If you're not living in that and you haven't figured that, or you have figured it out, but you're not living in it yet, then it's going to be a really, really tough decade for you. Like literally the next, and I'm not even being dramatic about it. See, here I go, being too much, right? Too emotional, too big. It's because I'm excited. And I had to go through this whole society crashing all around me and having to live in my authenticity a couple of years ago when we went through, I think it was Jupiter in Virgo actually was probably the time that it was happening to me, which makes a lot of sense. Or it was Jupiter in Libra. That's when it was, which makes a lot of sense because I'm a Libra rising. So it really hit me hard when it was happening. Expansion and forming who you really are. So, but if you're not living in your authenticity, it's going to be, I mean, he talked about like how, you know, after, I think it was during the Civil War and during Prohibition and that was the last time we had this Jupiter and Neptune transit that was going on. So you really, it's such a big time. And if other people in your life are not living in their truth as well, no judgment on them. I actually want you to love them through it. You know, I am a big, big advocate of loving even even love thy enemy, right? Because that's the biggest thing that we lack in this world today. Is just because somebody doesn't look the same way as you, or they're doing the same thing as you, or because they're doing just the opposite of what you would do, or you consider it a bad thing. Like a lot of people consider me evil because I read tarot cards. I only work in the light. I know what my shadow side is. I know what my shadows are. I've worked in the shadow part of me before because I had to cleanse that part of me as well. I admit that I have a shadow side, but we are all still living a human experience when it comes down to it, right? We're all spiritual beings living a human experience. So loving people through their shadow, loving it, you have to understand that it's going to, everything gets worse before it gets better because there has to be that cleansing. It's like having the huge flood, Noah and the flood, right? Noah and the flood. You were a sleeping beauty waiting for him to come. It's time to wake up and move on. That's another thing, you know, Eric and I did a video, and if you haven't seen it on his channel, it was a couple of weeks ago before I got really sick, like maybe 3 weeks ago. And we're going to try and do it once a month, but we talk about the whole twin flame experience, soulmate experience, why waiting for someone is not the correct way to go about the whole journey. Waiting on somebody to show up, waiting on somebody to end their karmic relationship, you know, allowing somebody to take that power away from you because you're waiting for them to kind of wake up is not the way to live out that journey and to walk that journey. So that's another really big thing. Living in your authentic truth is not waiting for someone else to show up. Living your authentic truth is finding that part of you inside that you gave to that person when you started waiting. You can hold space for them. Eric is Divine Conversations. And if you go to my community tab on my actual YouTube page, you go to my community tab, I've actually posted that twice, I think, because people have asked me about it. So yes, Abby, that's actually a good idea. When you wake up every single morning and you choose you first before everybody else, it's not a selfish thing to do. Choosing you first is not a selfish thing to do, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. That was a really hard lesson for me to learn, being a Virgo. Yeah, Stephen makes a very good point. The majority of true twins are waiting on their false twins. He is a prime example of doing that. In his past, he's done that. And I have been in contact with false twins as well in my life. So it's a huge misconception, because when you wait for somebody who's not waiting on you or waiting for you, you wouldn't be waiting for, I mean, like, if two people are waiting for each other, it's pointless, right? If one person's waiting on another person to show up, it's pointless, right? You're stopping your life. You're not living your life. You really need to push forward and keep moving. And it's not easy to do. I am going to start a program in 2019, probably the beginning of February, because I still have to get well enough to have enough energy to start putting the program together. But it's going to be about spiritual empowerment. And that really is becoming empowered within yourself. And it'll be like a 3-month program that we can go through that we're going to do. And it'll be like videos and live sessions, and I'll pull a group of people together and we'll all do it together, and it'll be like fantastic community time. So awesome. Best way to gently release a karmic. Ooh, Emily, that's such a good question. One of the things that I've really found in releasing karmic situations is raising your own vibration and not getting in the tangled mess of their energy. That's the easiest way. Like, if you're in a karmic situation and you're not even speaking to the person and they're completely blocked, then that just means that there are energy cords that are attached. I suggest, and it won't happen overnight, and it won't happen with just one treatment, but Reiki sessions really help with that. But also meditation, really getting yourself grounded, living your authentic truth every single day. The biggest part of karmic situations are when we get in our head and we think of the memories. I even still do it. I even still will get into my mind and think about memories from my life, like, man, I really wish I would have done that differently, or man, I really wish that would have worked out, or all of that, or, I think about all the good times, because what your brain's actually doing to you is tricking you and making you think about all the good times. But then what about all those bad times? Like, yes, maybe you had a good 3 years with each other, but then the last 2 years of that 5-year relationship was crap, and you were treated poorly, and you were abused, and you were emotionally abused and spiritually abused and mentally abused, or maybe even physically abused. But that's the thing is, we go back and we think of all the good stuff, and we're like, man, why can't we just go back to those good old days? Why can't we just go back to doing all of that and yada, yada, yada. That's where you have to cut those energies off, and living in your highest vibration. Living in your highest vibration doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad day. I have kept a very high vibration, even though I've been really sick. And when you get sick, you're more susceptible to negative energies attacking you, which is a lot of times the reasons why I'll just like hunker down and like not be around people. But it is mind control. You're right, Darshelle, it is mind control. But living in a high vibration doesn't mean you're not going to be sad. And it like having a bad day or being in a bad mood doesn't mean you're in a low vibration. It's a low vibrational energy, but that doesn't mean your vibration is completely like, it's not like dieting where you like mess up and you eat a whole bunch of bread one day and then you're like, oh my God, now I have to start all over again. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's like, when you're in a high vibration already, you can easily get back there. And that's what I mean. Purge those emotions, get sad. Mars and Chiron is going to help you do it, but don't expect things out of everything right now. Do you have any suggestions, guidance, opinions on healing crystals? I love healing crystals. And I'd actually like to do a separate video on that because there's so much information on it. You know who I'd really like to do a video on that is Steven. I would really like Steven to do a video on healing crystals because he probably knows way more about it than I do. But yeah, and the reason why I want to do a whole different video on that is because when you like, when you get crystals, when you buy crystals from like a metaphysical shop or online or something like that, there's a lot of things that you have to do with clearing and cleansing the crystals and charging them and all of that. Oh yeah, and Stephen also, of course, music comes up. Of course, he recommends I've never been able to say that word. He recommends different types of sounds and music. That's how I'm going to say that so I don't sound like a stupid idiot when I say things. I'm still, you know what's so funny, you guys? I still, like, I'm not a big person on going to get antibiotics or anything like that. And I'm actually on round 2 of antibiotics. And I still have a fever that makes me really hot and makes me really cold. So, like, I was freezing when I started this video. And now I'm, like, all flushed and burning up. It's pretty funny. Thanks, Smiles for Miles. I like your name. Oh, I've been drinking so much chicken bone broth because I've been doing a fast and a detox for weeks now. I've been drinking a lot of really hot tea. I've been drinking a lot of, I would get fluorite for that, Kathleen. This is mine. I have a purple one, but it comes in green also. I've been doing the green juice. I've been like juice fasting and bone broth fast. Like, you have no idea, you guys. I've done like the turmeric and honey, like everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Lots of garlic. And trust me, you guys, I'm doing everything to get well. This, like, literally, I've recognized all of the negative energies because I like completely and totally purged myself of of something that I held on to all through 2018 that I shouldn't have been holding on to. And when I released it and finally got rid of it, I got sick. And I got so super sick. It's like my body was like, all right, you had all this negative energy built up inside of you from another situation that was going on in your life. And it was, you guys can keep on giving me like all sorts of health things. Trust me, I've done everything. Like you can, but I even like broke down and did got NyQuil. I don't take over-the-counter medicine unless it's like Tylenol or something like that if I have a really terrible headache. But yeah, I mean, I got like Mucinex and NyQuil, and like I went all out to try to get myself well. Second round of antibiotics and fasting. So I know that this isn't like, yes, it's a sickness. Yes, it's like, you know, I've got a bacterial sickness, a virus, whatever it is, but it's also purging so much of the negative energies that I held on to through 2018. And I'm really, really good at protecting my energy. But when you let one specific situation come into your life, or a couple situations that come into your life that you don't really protect yourself with, it can build up. It can build up really, really bad. And I find myself, the only time I get really, really sick is when I allow too much negative energy to enter my space, right? There's that allowing again. So yes, this is a time to be yourself and let it go. The false love for my life. And whoa, it's going so fast. It's going so fast. Yes. And that's the way it really happens. You know, when you start to let go of all the false negative energies in your life, good things start to happen. And again, I can't stress it enough. If it doesn't feel good, your energy field will literally repel the negative stuff in your life, and things will not go well. If you keep fighting to keep a situation in your life, or a certain thing in your life, or you have a certain mindset and a certain expectation of the way it's supposed to go, and it stresses you out and it makes you anxious, and the people around you make you anxious, and everything that you're doing constantly every single day, you don't want to be in there. You know, there are people, this is how people become suicidal, because they don't want to live life anymore. But the thing is they don't want to live that life. The life that they're living, that's the life they don't want to live. What if they change something about it? What if they went a different direction? What if they allowed themselves to live authentically? and good things start happening. It's not an easy journey, but it's not, it always turns out for the better. I don't know how other way to put it. And I mean, I wish that I could like get everybody like on the same mindset as me. Like, wish I could like brainwash everybody, just be like, no, just do good for yourself. Just do good for yourself. But you have to do it for yourself. I'm that person that wants to heal everyone. So when you're stuck, when you feel like nothing is ever going right, when you feel like, woe is me, the universe is against me, this is all bullshit, nothing's ever going to work out in my life, I've always been unlucky, that, first of all, that kind of mindset is just going to bring you more bad luck and more horrible things. But the more you look on the bright side, and the more you see all the good stuff that's going on in your life, and the more you open yourself up to the possibilities, and the more you release the negative people, situations, jobs, things, pick an element. All you have to do is start with one. And that's a big thing. That fear will paralyze you from living authentically. And what is the fear of living authentically? That people are going to think differently of you, that you're going to be persecuted. Do you know how many times I've been persecuted? Do you know how many friends I've lost because I've decided that I'm a tarot reader? Because I've decided to live my spiritual empowerment. You're not going to please everyone. And if you've had friends for 20 years and they choose not to associate themselves with you or continue to love you or say that they, you don't have to agree with somebody to still back them up in their life. You can still be a strong part of a person's existence. And like, you can still be friends with me and not completely agree with what I do. But when you start judging me, or when you start thinking that I'm crazy or something like that because of what I do, that's not okay, right? So you really, you have to make sure that you have a good group, and even if you don't have people around you, because when it all comes down to it, I'm a loner. Like, I'm the epitome of what you would call a hermit. I love being with my friends when I can be with them. I love going out, once in a blue moon. But I don't go out to bars anymore or clubs, or I'll take my kids out to restaurants and I'll do things with them every once in a while, go to the movies and stuff like that. But then I'm doing a lot of energy clearing the next day. And I mean, when it comes down to it, my YouTube channel and really all the people that I've met in my life in the last 2 years, most of them are at a distance from me. So when it comes down to it, I'm really, really a loner. Hermit mode on fleek. That's right. That's what I do. I even went and had my nails done yesterday, and it was so busy in the nail shop because it's the end of the year and everybody wants their nails did before the end of the year. And it was so much negative, gossip energy that was people were gossiping with each other right and left. And that's another thing that's happening right now. Everybody is talking about everybody else. So, really be careful with when somebody else starts gossiping about another person to you, be like, nope, I don't want to hear it. Because that will build up some karma. Anyway, what do you say we get into some cards? There's there's a lot of people here. I'm so glad you guys are all, if you could hit the like button for me, that would be awesome. Smile, walk away. Smile. And I am getting personal readings out. I really appreciate everybody being so understanding about the personal reading situation, because there were some people that had to wait 2 weeks after their original due date of their reading. And they have been lovely. You people are fantastic to me. And I could not ask for a better group of subscribers and amazing, amazing, amazing clients. So let's see. Let's look at the end of the year energies and the beginning of 2019. And if you guys have big New Year's Eve plans, please be safe. Please, please, please be safe. I might even be live on New Year's Eve because my 5-year-olds and I are going to be here together. Like, that's how we're going to party it up. Like, I don't drink. So, like, rarely do I drink. Again, once in a blue moon. I think the last time I had a drink was this summer with Eric in New York City. I think that was the last time I actually, oh no, I take that back. My cousin gave me a little tiny bottle of vodka. And that was a couple of months ago. So New Year's Eve is overrated. Amateur hour. That's what I always. Safe is boring. Yeah, well, safe also keeps you alive. So, and I want to see everybody alive. I did. And you know what, Miss Grace? My North Node is in Virgo. So there you go. I found tarot with my North Node in Virgo while the North Node was in Virgo. Ooh, crab legs. Who's talking about crab legs? What do you mean? How do you find what out? All right. See, I like the way this is starting. Oh, that's not fun. Oh, how do you find out your nodes? If you do your birth chart, you have to have the time of birth, time you were born. And there's actually a link that I send people to. I can do birth charts, but I don't sell them. So, but there's a link in the description box for that. You can Google, but you have to have the time of birth and where you were born to do that. And then you can find out where your North Node is. And your North Node, the North Node is the Dharma. So that's like what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. Layman's terms, if you guys want to try, because I know somebody's going to be like, no, this is what that is. I'm just putting it in layman's terms so everybody can understand. And then karma is like past lifetime healings that you have to do, or even childhood from this lifetime healings. So, and I tell people that if you don't know the time you were born, noon is always a good bet. Or if you know, like, I was born in the evening, then find an evening time, or the morning, find a morning time. But okay, so the first two cards we have are the King of Wands and the Ace of Wands. I like this energy already because I feel like people are learning how to stand in their power. Now, you could be dealing with a fire sign, but, the Ace of Swords is all about communication, and it's about cutting things out of your life. To me, this is very powerful already. I feel like a lot of people are really super finding their power and standing in it and not putting up with the BS anymore of opinions of other people or societal standards, or needing to be a certain way, talk a certain way, wear a certain thing. My cards, oh, they were upside down. I'm like, why do these? Yes. All right. So we do have eclipses coming up in January. The first one will be the 5th and 6th, 5th of January in Capricorn. And then we have one on the 22nd of January in Leo. It's like 0 degrees of Leo. But we have the Moon card and the 9 of Pentacles. More feeling like the Moon is all about confronting your own feelings, being honest with yourself. And this could have a lot to do with this Mars and Chiron, because the moon card can represent like a very Piscean feeling, right? Mars and Chiron, being super, super honest with yourself right now, standing in your power and being honest with yourself is only going to make you more abundant. 21st, 22nd. It kind of, yeah, you know. I would, like, seriously, I have to look at I tell everybody I know just enough astrology to do a little bit of damage. I'm not an astrologer. Like, if you want a really good astrologer, Varouche knows her stuff. The Leo King, I recommend him too. Supergirl, is that her name? She's really good as well. Nice to see you too. All right, so standing in your power and being really honest with yourself is only going to bring you abundance in life. Sorry, my throat chakra just decided to. Somebody needs to speak their truth. All right. Yes. Because you're going to be met with chaos. And you're going to be met with opinions from people because they don't like what you're doing. They don't like that you're standing up for yourself. And if you're a person that doesn't really stand up for yourself and you finally are standing up for yourself, you're going to come up against pressure from other people. The Knight of Swords and the Five of Wands. It's all about Varouche lives in your hood. Oh, I wish I lived in Varouche's hood. Oh, yes. She is quite the astrologer as well. Does she do astrologer videos though, Stephen? So really, like, again, you will be met with resistance as this energy kind of shifts into the new year, as you stand in your truth. Don't be afraid of this. This is the thing that everybody gets really, really afraid of. Awesome. We'll go over Aluna. Sorry, Stephen and I are talking about Aluna. His counterpart does astrology as well. So that's another good. I will, like, always send people to other astrologers. My goal is to learn more, and I do learn every single day a little bit more, but I don't feel confident enough to do really big, huge transits quite yet. So who's in Washington? Sorry, I know it's so funny when people like rewatch these videos. They're like, I don't like it when you talk to the live chat, but thanks, Rising Phoenix. All right, I'm going to clarify these. I want to see what this King of Wands is because I love the energy. I thought she was in Canada. That's why I was like, she's not in Washington, is she? She's in like Vancouver or something. I thought she was in Canada. Anyway, I don't want to talk about somebody else on this channel. That's not not what I wanted to do. That's her life. I don't want to tell somebody else's story. Okay. Okay. All right. So the King of Wands, we have clarifying the King of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords. So the King of Wands is still, this is kind of what I'm talking about, the energy with Mars and Chiron and the Libra moon. As we move from Virgo moon to Libra moon, there's going to be this, like, this need to really balance things out. The problem is if we're really, like, the Four of Pentacles is expecting something because you're holding on to something really, really tightly. This is not allowing the universe to work in your life. Yes, you're trying to stay stable. Yes, you're trying to make things work out in the way that you think they're going to be smoother. But if you let go a little bit, I guarantee you, 100% guarantee you, what the universe brings to you, even if it doesn't feel really stable in the beginning, it's always much more of a blessing than something else in your life. Okay. So the something that you were holding on to, if you're holding on to and expecting, and here's the thing, the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords, yes, it can be all about deception and lying, and maybe that's how you feel. Maybe you're sitting in the King of Wands energy, and the reason why you're holding on to things is because you don't want to lose anything else in your life. You're like, oh my gosh, I've already lost so much. I got to tell you, man, to the end of 2017, I lost everything. Like, not my kids, obviously, But 2016, 2017 was all about loss for me. And I had to do it because the universe had a bigger plan for me. Source had a bigger plan for me. God, Buddha, Jehovah, I don't care who you call that energy. To me, it's all the same thing. It's that divine power that we all hold within us that we hold back. And if we don't release the energy and we don't allow the universe to come in, yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, you might feel a little bit guilty. But the more you stand in your power, the more you start cutting things out of your life, whether you feel guilt. And the reason why you feel guilty is because other people's expectations are making you feel guilty. Standing in your power should feel good. And when other people make you feel bad about standing in your power, they're the ones that are doing the Seven of Swords to you. They're being dishonest and deceitful to you, right? So let's look at the Ace of Swords. I highly, highly, highly recommend not sitting in expectations of certain outcomes because it's never going to turn out the way you want it to. And the reason why you're having these aha moments, that's what I like to call the Ace of Swords, the aha moments. The reason why you're having these aha moments is because you want more fulfillment in life. The Page of Cups for me is all about needing more. Could you just give me a little bit more? I don't need much, just a little bit. And the more you allow yourself to cut things out of your life, the more fulfilled you will be. So, the Moon, being honest. You're at the studio. That's okay. It'll be on here later. It'll be on here later. I just so super got distracted. Be honest with yourself. So the Ten of Pentacles is clarifying the Moon. And the Moon is saying, so for me, the Ten of Pentacles can be one of two things, right? The Ten of Pentacles is the way we think it's supposed to look. Oh, look how pretty that all is on the outside. It's like the Instagram filters of the world. It's like the Facebook filters of the world, all of the beautiful things. And yes, I'm sure people are happy within their settings and the things that they're doing, but I guarantee you they're not like that every single day. So are you going to live in the facade that everything looks really, really good on the outside and it's a big old mess on the inside because you're not living your authenticity and you're not being truthful to yourself? Or are you going to go get the Ten of Pentacles that might look really, really different to everybody else, but it feels good to you and it feels abundant to you and it feels like home to you? It doesn't have to be what everybody else would see as a home. You can hear the sirens outside. There's a lot of people that would look at my life and say, I didn't know you were in a place like that, or I didn't know that you were struggling in that way, or I didn't know that you didn't have a job. And I'm like, but I do have a job and I'm not struggling. And I actually really like my life because I downsized quite a bit. And now I don't have to deal with the stuff, like all of the things and all of the stuff and all of the mess, right? So, being truly authentic is not what the Ten of Pentacles looks to everybody else. It's what the Ten of Pentacles feels like for you and looks like for you. Like I had somebody who I've been friends with for 20 years. And when she found out because she found out from a third party source that my life did a complete 180 in 2017 into 2018. The last conversation I had with her, she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know that you were going through all of that. And I didn't know that you were going through really bad times. And I'm like, what did you hear? Because I'm not in a bad place. But if you're hearing that I'm in a bad place, then that's how everybody's perceiving me. Authenticity can be a literal theme for 2019. That actually rhymes. There you go. I'm a poet. Didn't know it. So find out what the Ten of Pentacles is for you and be honest with yourself. Is it, because what's really funny is when you first see what the Ten of Pentacles is for you, you can always turn around and change that as you live your truth. Because the more abundant you feel about the place that you're in and not about what everybody thinks the place that you're in should be, the more love and acceptance you're actually going to find from the right people. So we have the Knight of Cups on the Nine of Pentacles. The more abundant you feel on your own, because the Knight of Pentacles is all about feeling abundant on your own, growing on your own, being in a really good place on your own, right? And the Ten of Pentacles is about society, like doing it with other people, not society, but doing it with other people. And the more you feel good, and I actually said this to somebody last night, the people that I attracted or didn't attract in my life at this point really has everything to do with how I feel on the inside. It really has to do with the way you see yourself. And if you don't see yourself in a really good place, then you are just as guilty of being the Knight of Swords and the Five of Wands as everybody else in your existence. I just did the mama glare. Sorry. It just comes, when you raise 3 boys, that comes naturally to is it the truth? So as you're met with adversity, because you will be, and you know what? Everybody is met with adversity. The Dalai Lama, everybody Jesus was met with adversity, for Pete's sake. Yes, Pete and I are good friends, by the way, because we are always forsaking. There's no reason to allow other people's opinions and thought. Do you think that if Jesus let everybody's opinions get to him, do you think that he'd really be able to reach as many people as he did? Or the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa? It doesn't matter who it is. You can be protected by so much love and light in your world, and it's still going to be met with adversity. So being afraid of being authentic is really you holding yourself back, because you're afraid of the adversity. Everybody gets adversity. Everybody has an enemy. Nobody's going to totally agree with everything you say. If everybody agreed with everything that I said, I would be a little scared about that. That's not, no. I hope you question the things that I say. I hope you go find your own answers. Be authentically you. So take a time out. 4 of Swords on the Knight of Swords. Take a time out. When people are messing with you and coming at you and saying the things that you don't need to hear, all of that negativity, remove yourself from the situation entirely. The 4 of Swords is all about healing. And the 4 of Swords is also about looking at things in a different perspective while you're healing. Like I said, not everybody's going to agree with everything you say, and that's perfectly fine. Not everybody's going to agree with the way you live your life, and that's perfectly fine. They can live their own life. I wish my kids would agree once in a while too. Man, I had it out with a 5-year-old last night. So I have to tell you guys really quick before I keep going. My 5-year-old is a Leo, and he's an Aquarius rising and a Scorpio moon, and he has so much Scorpio in his chart. The kid is mostly fixed energy, mostly fixed energy. And so I always say when my 5-year-old says no, he really, really, it's not like a regular 5-year-old's no. And I will try and have a conversation with him, and he will argue with me, even though he knows I'm right. He will still argue with me. Smartest kid in the world. And you guys have probably seen him. If you haven't seen him, he's on, go check out my Instagram, because he's the drummer. He's literally could already be a professional drummer, and he's 5 years old. So he's so incredibly smart, and he stutters because his brain goes faster than his mouth. So last night we were having this conversation, and I looked at him and I was like, stop talking, stop talking, stop talking. Stop talking. It was really funny because I was trying to tell him that we were going to be able to compromise, that we could do it together, that it was going to work out. But he was arguing with me about compromising. It was ridiculous. Anyway, he's a really sweet kid. But man, when he's right, he's right. It doesn't even matter. Does not even matter. That's the adversity. So like I'm wrong no matter what. So the 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands could be that inner conflict that you have. It could also be people fighting with you. And this is, we're just getting out of like the Christmas season. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate, the thing about it is, people, the whole fighting that's going on right now. I mean, even if you look, like, I don't even watch the news anymore, but I know what's going on in the government. I know what's going on with the wall. And I'm not going to get into politics. We're not talking about politics. I'm not going to do it. But what I'm saying is if you look at the way society is building its standards right now, there are going to be conflicts when you stand up for yourself, right? Because the Hierophant on the 5 of Wands talks about breaking through all of those societal standards. The Hierophant is the institution. It's the Pope. It's the emperors of the world. It's the leaders of the world. It's what we would like to see as justice, but it's not. Because there's not enough people pushing the whole love vibe and the being inclusive and not exclusive, right? Because when you include everyone and you give that love vibe out and include everyone in what's going on, instead of saying no, stay out, go. When people start pushing you away, let them go away. If you feel resistance from other people, they're not meant to be in your space. And that's what this is saying. Hi, Violet. When you're met with resistance from other people, they're not meant to be in your space. So, in conclusion, we might all feel like we're at a stalemate right now, and things are really confusing. The Hanged Man, the 7 of Cups. You might feel like you're kind of being left out. The 5 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles. The way to overcome all of this confusion, all of this stagnant energy, all of this feeling like this lack mentality, because this is a mentality. The 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords. The reason why you feel lack is because you're not being your authentic self. You're not living your truth. And if you feel like I don't have enough in my life to be happy, find something. And the way that you find something is you get honest with yourself and you find out what it is that's making you feel like you're lacking in some way. If it's like you're struggling because you work 3 jobs and you don't have time to spend with your kids and you have to work those 3 jobs. There's a way around everything. I said something to you yesterday. Everything is figure outable. Everything is figure outable. I know that's not really a word, but I made it. And actually, I don't think I made it up. I think I read it somewhere like years ago on a meme, but it popped up into my head. So the way to overcome this, healthy boundaries, 7 of Wands, fight for yourself, fight for your own rights. Everything is figure outable. Because all you have to do is allow things to complete so new things can come in, right? The World, Queen of Cups, 6 of Pentacles. Oh, the Hermit. Whenever the Hermit card comes out, I'm like, oh, 6 of Wands. I'm going to stop there because I could tell the whole story. And I do have to get work done today. I just wanted to really get this message out. I didn't even really know what the message was going to be until I started talking. So in this stagnant, confusing energy, allowing yourself to have healthy boundaries to get you out of a place of feeling like you're lacking in some way. Because I feel like a lot of Some people do it, Amy. I know 3 jobs. I worked 3 jobs at one point in my life just to be able to get by too. So the 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Swords is almost lying to yourself that you even have to be in the 5 of Pentacles. You don't have to feel like you're lacking in any way, because I feel like the 5 of Pentacles isn't just about material lack. It's about actually how you feel inside, the lack that you feel inside. My tummy just growled. Time to eat, Betsy. Which is funny because all it's going to get is like juice, like something liquid. It's like, why are you even like excited to eat at all, tummy? So the World and the Queen of Cups. This is another thing is the Queen of Cups for me embodies unconditional love. And I don't even like to use the word unconditional when it comes to love. I like to use the word pure when you come back to the purest form of love. And for me, everybody embodying the Queen of Cups right now could really change the world. And that's really, I know that's what my mission is. I know that's the whole reason why I was born, was to help the world and humanity and the earth come back to the purest form of love, come back to the Garden of Eden before the fall of man, right? And it's not a pipe dream, because somebody said to me, don't you think that that's a little ambitious? And I'm like, no, it's not. I don't even care. I don't care what you think. I think it's going to happen. One day it'll happen. And I will be lucky to see it. 6 of Pentacles and the Hermit. So it's time to get quiet. It's time to go on your own journey. It's time to figure out where the 6 of Pentacles begs to ask you, where are you placing your energy? Where are you allowing your energy to be spent? Are you giving it to people, places, and things that will give back to you? Or are you giving it to people and places and things that just drain the hell out of you? So during this very abundant, very celebratory, very awesome time, because celebration is here and we want you to celebrate, even if it's just with a 5-year-old and a noisemaker. Celebrate the new year coming in a big way. And stop thinking about what you don't have and what hasn't worked out for you, and think about what you do have and what is working out for you, because that's how you're going to manifest more of that. Stop giving your energy to things in your life where you feel like it's a constant battle of your will. All right. It's so funny when my guides are just like, okay, you're done. Done. I love you guys so much. Thanks for being here with me this morning while I'm all stuffy and still kind of gross. I appreciate it. And again, if you would like to have a personal reading, all of the readings that are coming in right now, unless it's an emergency reading, will be done after the 1st of the year. Right now, I am scheduling for after January. I think January 10th is my January 11th is like my next scheduled date that I'm doing. So I appreciate you all. If you're currently waiting on a personal reading from me, I am getting to them. I'm hoping to be able to be all caught up by the 1st of the year. But please do remember that this is still kind of a holiday time. I do have a very young child, and it's very hard to do personal readings with a very young child around, especially one who likes to play the drums. So I love you all so much. Check out my website. Check out Eric's website. Check out Steven's channel. And Eric doesn't have a website. Check out Eric's channel, Divine Conversations. There was that talk that we did. And I think we're going to plan on doing another one. For like the whole twin flame soulmate collective question. It was really great because we were able to answer a lot of questions and bring a lot of clarity and kind of like bring it into reality. So it's not such a fantastical idea of something that's like never going to happen. Right. So I love you all. Take care of yourselves. You're too sensitive for drums. I am too. So you can imagine what happens. Have a wonderful, wonderful new year. Please be safe. And if you need one-on-one anything, contact me. Let me know. Email me, Instagram, DM me. I'm always around. I love you guys. Bye.